Hi guys, welcome back. Well, before I drop onto the propane furnace, I just want to sort out a backplate for this choke. This is the original choke that came with the wood lathe, and I'd made an adapter to suit the pedestal grinder spindle thread. Made an adapter that goes onto, that thread goes onto the grinder spindle, and then I've made an adapter on this side to suit the thread from the original backplate, and it's been working fine, and no noticeable run out with it. But it had started sticking out from the headstock quite a way, so I thought I could improve on that. And to be honest, I don't know why I didn't do it this way to begin with. So what I've decided to do, because the backplate is detachable from the choke, there's a register surface on the inside of it, held in place by 3 bolts. That just locates in there. So what I've done, the original spindle adapter that I made, I made this on the Holbrook lathe. So I put it back on the lathe, and originally this diameter came the full width of it. So I put it back on the lathe, and I machined this section down so it mimics the original backplate. And the reason this section is thinner is to allow the bolts to go through that fasten onto the choke. So I've taken this section down. Those bolts now will go through onto the choke. Now I've machined it down roughly to within size. But rather than finish it off on the Holbrook, I thought that now this adapter will fit onto the grinder spindle. And that runs nice and concentrated. So I don't even remember, a couple of months ago when I first got this vintage wood lathe, it came with this carriage and cross slide. I don't know if it was originally a dual purpose metal and wood lathe, or possibly a copper lathe, but it came with this carriage and a cross slide, and originally it had a geared rack with lots of connecting rods for moving the carriage along the bed. Now I've done away with that, I've no need for that. But what it means is I'm using the cross slide and not the geared rack to move the tool rest along. Now I've got it bolted onto the I've got the carriage bolted onto the lathe bed, but because the cross slide relies on these 2 bolts to give you whatever angle you need, I now need to tram the cross slide so it runs parallel with the lathe bed. So as I advance the cross slide, it runs parallel with the work. So I've not got a great deal to take off this piece. Got it roughly, probably about another 5-6 millimeters off. But yeah, I didn't want to take it down to the finished dimension on a lathe that it's not going to be used on, so I'm thinking doing it this way. Once this is machined down to that size, there's no reason then why it won't run concentric with the lathe bed. So I'm gonna put my dial indicator on, set that up, lock the two bolts down on the cross slide, and then need to take about 5-6 mil off this. Takes some getting used to this, guys, because the thread runs the opposite way to what I'm used to on my lathe. So when you start turning it clockwise, instead of advancing it, it retracts the tool post. So it's the same on the cross slide and on the thread for advancing it inwards. So you've just got to remember that before you make any adjustments. But I think we're right there now. Right, let's lock everything down. Well guys, I've got the new backplate for the truck fitted on, and what it means is that's the original backplate that was on the truck, and then the adapter that I've just altered went into the original thread. So by doing it this way, I've lost almost 3 inches of stick out, reduced the stick out by about 3 inches. So that's got to be better. I've been thinking about the original faceplate that came with this, that has the same thread on this, and I think there's enough meat left in there to bore that out and rethread it to suit the thread that's on the pedestal grinder spindle. So that again would reduce the stick out. I've also got this large cast iron gear. I think this came with the lathe originally. There was lots of gears and cogs and different attachments for using it as it was originally, but that's all surplus to me now, so I'm thinking that would bore out again, and put it in a lathe, cut the gears off, and put the thread on to suit the spindle, and that would make another faceplate. I've got 2 or 3 of these, so I may have to extend the width of the centrepiece, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Doing it this way it means I've now lost the number 2 Morse taper that I machined into the spindle adapter early in the week, and what I'm thinking of doing is, once the chuck's been taken off, machine a number 2 Morse into the spindle itself. There's enough material, there's enough diameter of the spindle to accept a number 2, and without doing any damage to the existing thread. So I think that's the way to go. But no, with reducing the stick out, with it running on the frequency drive, I've no idea what revolutions the spindle's going round at. I have got a digital rev counter, so at some stage I need to put that onto it and make a chart with what revolutions the spindle's going at for the different settings on the frequency drive, without guessing or thinking, yeah, that's fast enough. Well, I've made a start lining the inside of the propane furnace with the fire breaks that I've been picking up, and originally I bought these ceramic ones, and there was already quite a weight with this, just on the casing itself, and these are there's quite a bit of weight with these, so lining that completely would add a tremendous amount of weight onto the furnace. So I've also picked up some of these vermiculite ones, and these are nowhere near as heavy as the terracotta ones. So I've decided I've got enough of the vermiculite ones to line the inside, so I've decided to use these, and I can cut these down on the bandsaw. These the terracotta ones I need to do with the angle grinder outside, so, but I can cut these inside on the bandsaw. I've arranged them so I've got as few cuts as possible. I've got a seam top and bottom where the two halves of the casing are welded together, but I don't think that should be a problem. Now, originally I bought enough bricks to put a double lining on the inside. I don't think that will reduce the volume inside too much. I've also, on my electric heat treating oven, there's a metal plate on the base that's that you put the crucible on, or whatever materials you want to soften. So I'm thinking of putting a metal plate on the bottom. This crucible is the first one I bought, and I bought this to use in the heat treating oven, and when it came I found there wasn't sufficient headroom on the inside of the oven to accept this crucible, so I chopped about 2 inches off the top for it to fit in. But if I put two layers of this in, I think there'll still be enough room to accept the crucible without cutting it down. The whole point of doing this, guys, is that I want to have both propane furnaces running at the same time. Melt the aluminium originally in the smaller furnace, then transfer that into this crucible, put it back into this furnace to keep that aluminium melted while I melt a second lot, and then I'll get much more aluminium melted to give me some larger casts. But I think there's enough room there to put two courses. I may try it first of all just with one layer on, just to see how it retains the heat. But yeah, I've made a start on the door. I've got some fire rope to make the seal between the door and the casing. I've got one piece left to make on the door itself to weld on, and then I'm certainly going to put 2 layers of fire bricks on the door casing. There's enough depth in the frame that I've made to allow for 2 layers. Right, let's get some more bricks stuck in. Well guys, I'm afraid I've run out of fire cement. I bought 3 of these tubs. They're only small tubs from Wicks. I'm going to think I'm going to at least need another one. So that's a trip out. So I'm afraid I won't be able to finish it up on this video, guys. I've started putting 2 layers on the door. I've got the lock that will bolt onto the main body, and then I'm going to cut a recess out for it to latch over to this knob. I've got some 12mm stove rope. Now this came in a kit with 2 ends that you once it's cut to length you stick together, and there's some adhesive as well. I'm not quite sure how that works. I've not looked at the instructions yet, but I think the idea is you cut it to length, put the glue on, and then this is going to be stuck onto the door and not onto the body of the furnace. On my heat treating oven, the rope is stuck onto the door, so I'm going to do the same with this. So that sticks on. I may have to trim the fire bricks that I've got on the body back. It just compressed, but compresses down about halfway. So, but I suppose you do need a good tight fit with them. So, but it's nearly there now. I've got the propane furnace made for it. I made that some while ago. On the front, I've got one more piece to weld onto this side. I'm going to grind the welds back, and then I think I'll cover this in completely. Maybe put some of the insulation material that I've got in the gap between the bricks and the metal. But it's almost there. I was thinking of started to, I don't know if you can see it there, guys. Let me just adjust the camera. Cut the hole out. That's better. I've cut the hole out in the steel for the flue. I've still got to cut the fire brick hole out in the fire brick to let the exhaust gases out yet. I'm going to cut a smaller hole and then cut another piece of the fire brick to go in that, so the exhaust gases aren't in contact with the steel, and maybe lift it up. I was thinking of putting an internal flue in somewhere, so through the wall and outside, so I could use it inside. But my experience with the first propane furnace that I built, with using the alloy wheels, they've got paint on them. Once it gets up to temperature, for the first 10 minutes there's some horrendous fumes that come off that paint. So I think it's best if I leave this outside, only use it outside and not use it inside. So yeah, it's nearly there, guys. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.